Okay, I'm back here again. For anybody that joins me, sorry about the wait. Hopefully people are going to come in and find us here. I have I have no idea what happened. I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, it just turned off and went away and I couldn't tell what was happening. So, um, I am here and I'm just going to keep going and hopefully anybody who's joining us can return. Okay. Good. Hi Ben. So good to see you again. This has been the most technically difficult thing that I've ever done, I think. It just keeps dropping. Okay, so this is the stick or the bark with the fiber in there on with the outer bark attached. And it's like a ribbon. And so I'm just see if you can see this. If I take it and I twist it, it doesn't want to spin. It folds. The ribbon itself folds. And that's what happens if something is not properly retted. If all the lignins are there, the fibers are not allowed to adapt and are not allowed to conform to everything. And so that's why you need to scrape off the outer bark, or if it's an annual plant, you need to ret it. Oh, don't touch that thing. You need to ret it in some way in order to, yeah, let's get this down so we can see the comments. Oh no. Oh wait. Okay. Okay. So in order to make it so that you can extract these guys.
Up a little bit.
Okay, up there. Sorry, I'm working with not getting stuff on my keyboard. So I take it and I rub that up and I roll it between my hands and I buff it. And this is why I prefer to scrape it first, because this actually is a pretty tedious process, but you can see how now when I twist it, it's a nice spin and it wants to spin. So compare that to a part that hasn't been twisted. You see how it folds and it doesn't do a good spin. So I can come through and I can do this kind of a motion all the way up and down this one now. Or if it was a material that needed to be retted, I would take this hank and I would roll it up and I would soak it for a little while and I would ret it. And then when I went to go extract it later and take then I would get rid of all the lignins and everything on there. So those are just those are some things. And I'm running a little bit short on time because of my technical difficulties. So thanks, Ben. I will try to come feed your dog, Bane. So we've got, I'm going to move on to a few other kinds that I want to show you about. But this was an example of what would happen if you'd have to clean. And another thing you can do to clean this is I do put the dog bane in my mouth, but I don't suck on it because it does have a digitalis-like heart stimulant quality. And even though the sap is gone, I wouldn't want to eat this or anything. But I put it in my mouth and I buff it with my hands. You see how I'm keeping it tight? And I can break off a lot of the outer bark, and then that softens that up and makes it so that I can spin it. But it's not going to be as good as scrape. It's a little clumpier, so then I got to spend some time cleaning. And generally with fibers, the more you clean, the finer you're trying to get them, the more you clean, you also are expecting that you're going to lose more, so you have to process more sticks. Another way to do it here on your leg is you can hold it and buff it on your leg like this in order to get all of the bark off of there. So those are different cleaning techniques that we can use with the dog bane or with any of these stem bast fibers. The few differences that I want to be sure to tell you in the last few minutes, we have 12 minutes left, in the last few minutes on this, is that the ones that are different, like I said, hemp and flax are annuals, so they have to be retted or decomposed in some way, either by laying in the field or soaking in water. The difference also with flax is that since all of these skinny sticks are so skinny, it's sort of processed in bundles instead of in single sticks. So you would take a bundle of these sticks, and there's these cracking off machines that people use, or you would have it on the edge of a table, and you basically crack the bundles, and then you start raking through a thing called a why am I forgetting it? It's a whole bunch of nails that stick up from a board, and you start raking all the fibers through that, and that cleans it and combs it and breaks off all the little bits of fiber. But usually you've done that after you've retted it, so then you field retted the sticks in the field, and then they comb out and they break off really cleanly. And that's by heavy mechanical processing. That's how you end up with something as fine as like this hank. This was machine process. I did not do this one. So this was retted, probably field retted, and then combed, like cracked mechanical process. And then this is the quality of fiber extraction that you would be using to weave cloth with. So you can take those guys down to that level if you want. The other ones that are different are the nettles, because nettle, if you look at a nettle stem, it's very ridgy. It has a whole bunch of long little narrow valleys and ridges in it. So I usually don't scrape nettles, because if you're scraping, all you're doing is scraping the outer tops of those ridges too much, and then you're not scraping the bottoms of those ridges at all. So I tend to extract nettles completely, just, you know, with all the bark attached. And then what I do is I extract maybe, Sharon was talking about this, I extract like 20 or 30 sticks worth. It's a really nice number, 20 to 50 sticks. And, you know, imagine that this one here is a whole bunch of just raw fibers, freshly extracted. I would take it up and I would twist it into a hank about this thick is the ideal amount. And then what I would do is I would put it on a wooden, nice smooth piece of wood, which I don't have, and then I would beat it with a smooth piece of wood up and down its whole length. And then I would unfurl it and turn it a different way, and then I would beat it and pound it like this, and then I would unfurl it again. And then that helps break up all of that bark that's on there, so that when I start doing the buffing and the stuff that I was showing, then I can be cleaning it out, and it's gonna have broken all those lignins up and help detach the bark a little bit. So that's one thing you can do also with dogbane and with milkweed if you are extracting it without having scraped the bark off first, or even if it's just sort of coarse. And some nettles are a little bit more stiff, and so the pounding softens the fibers enough that they are soft enough to extract. Because that's one of the things about, even if you have a strong fiber, if it's been glued into place by a whole bunch of lignins, or it's covered in glue, or if it's sort of like it's like got starch all around it, that fiber, if it's too starchy and isn't allowed to adapt and move, you can break it, because it's brittle because of the matrix that it's in. Where the thing that makes fibers strong is that they're allowed to be breaking. So pounding to soften things. So if you're ever working with a fiber that feels brittle on you, that's breaking a lot, if it's a strong enough fiber to take it, you want to be doing the pounding process to soften things up to make that happen. So we only have 9 minutes left, so I'm going to move up. Ben had asked about making tule ropes, and I had mentioned tules as something that they're a whole leaf plant. Essentially, you're using a segment of the leaf or the entire leaf, preferably a portion of the leaf, that you twist in the green state. When you're doing the green state ones, a lot of times you want to harvest them, and then you want to season them and let them dry, and then you want to re-soak them again, and then you work with them wet. I forgot to say that about the hard fibers. In general, hard fibers are all worked with wet, because they're a little bit weak on the shear twist thing. When they're wet, they're more elastic, so they can be worked in more the wet state. Where the bast fibers tend to be, it's okay, you can work them damp. You don't want to work them soaking wet. You can work them damp, or you can work them dry. But with the hard fibers, you tend to always work with them wet. So this is an example of a rope that's made out of tules, I believe. So it's twisted up, and you just start twisting it in. And this is, you know, you don't roll it as much. You're doing more of a twisting process, which hopefully I'll have time to show you. I did want to do some twisting, but all of our technical details slowed this down. So I'm going to show you, this is the iris leaf. So really quick, I'm going to, in the last few minutes, and hopefully I can go just a little bit over, I'm going to show you extracting the iris fiber. So right here is a iris leaf. It's been wilted a little bit. I come in with my nail and I slide this one out, and I divided it in two pieces. And then I come in with my nail here and I slide that one out. And there's going to be photos of this in the slideshow that I'm going to post later. And then with one of those halves,
up a little,
I can see right here is the piece of fiber is on that outside edge. So I come in and I tear, and then I can see that one little piece of fiber right there. And I have it in front of the black. There, you can see it. So do you see that fiber? That's the one that we're extracting. There's only 2 of those in each leaf, but I come in and I do this sort of scraping thing with my nail to get it out. So that's one half of it. And then I come back and I do the other half like that. And so I get that one monofilament fiber, which is incredibly strong. This is really, really nice stuff. And then I go to the other one and I tear it in the middle. So it's the other half. I tear it in the middle. I get down to that single fiber again, and then I scrape it off with my nail, and then I come back here and I scrape this off with my nail, and then we're at our nice piece of fiber right there. And you know, generally I'd want to get at least 10 or so of these, and I would get them wet, and then I would twist them up and make them into a nice string. This is just 2 of them. Twisting it up, you can see that it makes a really, really strong cord. And in areas of Northern California and southwestern Oregon, this is sort of the dominant fiber. That's a really, really fine piece piece of cord, but if I had like 10 of those, it would be a really nice strong cord that you can use for most anything. There's a lot, especially on the coast where there isn't as much, besides basically nettles, there's not as much dogbane and not as much milkweed. This is the fiber that you, this is so weird backwards. So this is the fiber that you pretty much can utilize. So the leaf fibers are truly amazing. I wanted to show you, I think I'm going to do, I was trying to get a way to make this work. I'm going to do a dark one. I think it looked best. I wanted to show you some string making techniques in these last few minutes, and I apologize with all the technical difficulties. We're running a little short on time. But I'm going to turn this camera right now and get this white background happening, because I'm going to be standing here and hoping to be holding it in front of there. So with the, and Sarah Beth is sort of showing me if I'm in the right place here and if it's in focus. So if you, when you're making string, if you line up your fiber,
up a little.
If you line up your fiber and you've got your two pieces, the way you start your sort of curlicue is you spin your right hand away from you and you spin your left hand towards you. That's what I like to do. And on this hemp twine that this is nice European hemp twine, it's spun to the right already, but that's the way I like to do it anyways. So I twist it up and I'm twisting and I'm holding and I'm binding energy, and that bound in. This is the whole thing on why we need strong fibers, is you have to have a fiber that can take this kind of twist. If this was weak, this would have broken already. But that energy is bound in there and it's freaking out. It needs to do something. And what it wants to do is it wants to fold over itself and wrap around itself. And so you see that that motion now is turned into that now I'm sitting here where I've got these two are wanting to turn. So there's a way called hand twisting, which I don't really use for string making. It's more of a splicing method. But I'm going to show it to you really quick. I can twist my right hand away from me, holding tight. I come down and I grab and I reverse, and that did one of those twists. I re-grab it, and I come in like this, and I reverse, and I go like that. So that's the twist that's happening, but it's basically these two are going away from me, and this one is also going away from me, because it's going, this one's going to its left, and these two are going to their right if you were facing each other. So right now I'm going to turn this around. And Sarah Beth and I are going to see if we can make this happen. She's going to hold the end right there, and we'll try to get it in front of the white part. Like pull it more this way towards me. Yeah. So I'm going to hold it like this. And move it towards me a little bit more. Yeah, good. So I'm going to hold it like this, and then I'm twisting. This is what's called triangle twisting. I'm twisting both of my elements to my right, and I'm spinning and I'm re-gripping and I'm spinning, and she's twisting to her left. So we're both going towards the computer right now. And she's guiding, and that's that Y shape, this angle that I'm keeping here is what's controlling it. If I was to do this and make it a T, it stops flowing, this energy stops flowing down. So I'm coming here and we're twisting and I'm keeping that Y shape. If I bring them too close together, it flows too quickly and makes too loose of a cord. So, you know, I'm only holding it sideways so you all can see what's going on. But we're going like this and we're making the Y shape happen. So this is how I do it with kids. We all stand in a triangle and one person is on where each of my hands are. And they're working on geometry and they're trying to keep that nice 45-degree angle, and they're working on tension and cooperating. A way you can do this by yourself as well, and I apologize that we're running out of time, is then you can let go. So then, and this twist doesn't come apart when you let it go. But a way you can do this by yourself is you can hold the end that we just finished right here, and we can come up about 6 or 8 inches, and I can twist this tight. So I'm twisting it tighter than it's supposed to be, or than it is naturally, and I'm sort of making a spring. Because if I'm working by myself, if I don't have Sarah Beth here helping me, this is a way I can do it by myself, is then I take this tension that I've stored, it's like a big spring, I put it in my teeth, and then I'm trying to give it a background that you all can see. So I go this way. Yep. Okay. Then I'm pulling down and I'm twisting, and I'm keeping that angle, and it's flowing down into the string. And I can get down about, 6 more inches, and then I can let it go again, and I can come back, and I can twist. I'm holding the junction, and I can twist again, and I can put it in my teeth again, and I'll try to have it in front of my body here, and I'm twisting both of them to my left. If I turn it around, it's sort of disruptive, but you can see it better. I'm twisting both of them to my left, and then I'm letting the energy flow down, and that's making string. So it keeps going like that. So that's one of the ways. Another way is called leg rolling, which is, we're going to try to bring this back down to get my leg down here. Another way is called leg rolling. Hi, John. It's so good to see you here. It's wonderful to see your name pop up. So I'm holding it on my leg. The trick with leg rolling is I hold it with my fingers like this, so that I'm holding the junction very tightly. And then I put my hand here and I'm rolling both elements away from me. And then I bring them together at the end by doing this sort of little motion with my hands. And then I'm going to come backwards. Maybe we can pick up the computer and do a close-up if we can. I'm going to try to do it here with one more. I'm wondering what color might be good, like a pink might be great. So Sarah Beth's going to, we're going to try to do it really slowly so we don't make you all sick, but Sarah Beth's going to try to bring the camera in and focus on my leg here. Yeah, good. So we're getting a start happening. We're holding it right here. I have my start, and I'm going to hold the junction like this on my leg. And then I'm holding it about 3 or 4 inches away. I'm rolling, and that's keep getting both of the strings going. And then I'm bringing them together by pulling away, and then I shift. So right now, the two elements are touching each other. Maybe make it more square on my leg, like turn this one away a little. Yeah, good. So we've got them like this, and they're spun up and touching, but not crossing each other. And then I can come backwards, and when I do that, they wrap around each other, and that gives us our string. So then we got down this far. Separate these again, and this is what you can do with a raw dog bane fiber as well, but since I'm running out of time, I'll do it right at the very end. So I'm rolling down, I'm bringing them together with that motion, and then I roll backwards, and then I end up with my nice string. So I'm going to show you on the dog bane fiber really quick. I'm sorry that we ran out of time, but like I said, with the technical difficulties, when I'm doing the dog bane, I tend to try to pull half of it apart and turn it around. And if I'm making any kind of length of string, I like to stagger my ends. So I pull, I divide again in half. With fibers, you always do everything in half. And like I said, if anybody, I am doing a lot of, posting a lot of videos in this time of COVID. I am putting more and more on my website. So please visit my website. I have a blog going, and I have a Patreon page. Please visit my website, and I'm going to post more information about fibers really very soon. I'm working on it. So we're running out of time, but hopefully we can stay in touch about these things. And if anybody wants a handout, they can email me at ts@paleotechnics.com. I'm going to put it in the comments too afterwards, but I'm spinning my right hand away from me, and I'm bringing this loop in. I'm getting my curly cue happening. And then this is the important thing, is this junction right here is where I have to put my fingers, and they have to hold it apart. I don't hold up here. I hold down like this. And then I have my thumb up. I have it on my leg. And I get my hands wet to get extra grip, and I'm rolling. There's one of my chickens is in the frame. Okay, I'm rolling this down, and I make it tight. Come on top a little bit, maybe bring the, yeah. I'm going making it tight, and then I'm bringing this down so that they touch, and then I'm rolling backwards, and that twists it into the piece of cord. And then I grab this point. I grab that junction again with my fingers. I go like this, I roll down. This fiber could have been cleaned a little bit more, but I go like this, and I do a shift to make them touch but not cross, and then when I roll back, they wrap around each other. I would be cleaning this fiber up and making it a little more even, but we're running out of time, so I'm just doing a really rough cord. So I'm rolling down, getting them tight. I do the shift with the pressures of my hands. I make them parallel so they're touching, and then I roll backwards, and I have my string, and I come back to where they're tight. And now we're getting a little bit of a different thickness here. So a nice trick you can do in a pinch is just move some of the fiber over to the other side so that the two sides are the similar thickness, because that makes the string run better. And now I'm holding that junction. I did a little too many. So I'm coming in here, and I roll down, like get these guys tight, shift around so that they're touching each other, and I roll backwards. And then at the end, they don't come apart. And a way, whenever you want to stop or whenever you get to the end, is you can do an overhand knot. Oh, and I should show splicing really quick. I know we're a little over time, but I'm just going to do a quick splice here because you wanna know about splicing. Where's my other dog bane piece that I extracted? There it is. So the way that when you get to the point where they're getting to be too thin or you're running short and you just need to start splicing right here, this side has gotten skinny and I'm running out. If I want to keep going, I take fiber. That's the last thing I haven't shown you. And I pull it apart. And I get a nice, sort of a small amount of my fiber. And I have my string here. And I hold the fiber between my fingers like this. This is my hand hold that I like to use. And then I lay it, I come in under the front one because this is a right hand twist, and I slide this into place. I slide like this kind of a motion into where I'm in the junction, and then I grab it like this. And you see how these are my strings? Sort of looks like 4 pieces, and these are the new ones I'm adding. I untwist this one, then I bring this one down, and I spin that up, and it just looked like it was always there, right? And then I untwist this one a little bit because you can never add to something that's already twisted. And then I come over here and I spin this one. And then I've got them both. I can even let go of this. You can't even really see the junction in there, the splice, but I'm going to hold on to it while I'm spinning. And then I come in with my hands like this and I roll away from me. Sorry. I roll away from me. I get it twisted tight. When I know it's twisted tight, I come in and do a motion like this so that they're touching each other but not crossing. And then I come back and I've twisted them together, and that was my splice. There was a little bit of fiber sticking out there, but that will all sort of go away. And now this is getting skinnier, so ideally I would splice again. So I get another little piece of fiber ready. And I sort of hang them on a stagger like this, hold them in my hand like that with my left hand, and I come in with my right hand and I slide it into the junction. And then I untwist this side, join this one in there, untwist this side, pull that one down and join it in there. And then I can bring these guys in nice and tight, spin it down, bring them in like this. Then I roll backwards and I've got my string there that I've done. And I can just keep going forever. And then once you've done that, you can make nets. You can gather, this is here a nice dog bane net. You can gather, you can make hundreds and hundreds of feet of dog bane cord. And you can just keep going and you can put a bunch of those together. If you twist it together, this is a whole different topic, but this is 3 of those cords twisted into a rope and then 3 of those twisted in. So this is a 9-ply dog bane rope. So there's just a lot of time going in there and making the string happen. But that's a whole different topic. So we are out of time. It is like 7 minutes over, but thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of Echoes in Time. Please, if you're getting anything from this gathering, please remember to donate to the cause, to the links that Peter has been posting, and I'm going to be here all week taking classes because I'm super enjoying them, and I'm available to talk, and I'm going to work on getting the slideshow up so that you can have pictures of all these plants and a better understanding of everything. And then I do have a new YouTube channel, and I'm trying to put more videos up on YouTube. Will try to get this, even though it was really broken up, onto some form of YouTube as well. So I look forward to communicating and have fun playing with fibers. Thank you so much, everybody. It was great to see you. Hi, Jose. It's great to see you. Hi, Elise. I'm looking through the comments right now. Hi, John. Oh my gosh. Hi, Mindy. Great. It's wonderful to see you all, and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the gathering. Thanks. Bye.